Welcome back, Pretty and Pride listeners. On this week's episode, we had a bit of technical difficulties that we just wanted to put a little disclaimer at the top of the episode for. We started recording this episode with me providing a personal and important update, and we realized after about 15 minutes as I was wrapping up that my mic was not recording. Kiki and I debated whether we wanted to remove it or leave it because the audio quality of our podcast is important to us, and we recognize that it's important to you as well. Ultimately, we decided to keep it in just because this is our podcast and this is, again, a personal update from me that I felt was important to share. So we did resolve the audio for the remainder of the episode and hope you don't mind the makeshift audio fix that we've added to this first section. It's a 15-minute update, so if the audio is annoying and you want to just skip ahead, then feel free to fast forward to about 15 minutes. And as always, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Shit hurt me every day. Get on my knees, pray. I'm trying to find another way. I gotta get up out this jungle. Niggas killing just to eat. Them lies ain't playing fair, so it's been getting I don't give my heart away. This shit hurt me every day. I get on my knees and pray. I'm trying to find another way.
Welcome back, Pretty and Pride listeners. I'm your host, Kiki.
And I'm your host, Ken. And for those of you who watch our episodes on YouTube, you've probably become very familiar with the sight of the cutest little white and honey-colored pup as a co-host of ours. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to Osiris this week, so my week has been, as expected, just whatever, honestly. There were a lot of things that I wanted to say to those of you who have seen how cute he is on my Instagram or on, the episodes. What I can say is that I'm really glad that I got to be his mom for 10 years, and I'm also really glad that, once the decision was made to really just, let him transition, I felt relieved that he wasn't going to be suffering anymore. So Last week when we filmed our episode, we had actually taken him to the vet and got news that it was likely terminal cancer, and it was probably going to be a short amount of time. And the time between Saturday and Monday evening when we called to schedule, the decline was just really dramatic. So. The other thing I've been thinking about is that you had talked about how cool it is that we get to memorialize our discussions through this project that we're doing, where it's we get to hang out and we get to talk and get to memorialize these discussions, and now we can add the fact that we also get to memorialize that cute little cuddly bug as well. So that's how my week has been. But I don't know if you've had a more uplifting side of the week. I mean, the first part was rough for both of us, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't say uplifting, right? Because, Osiris still meant a lot to me. I think I've been thinking about how I'm really glad that we are in the same city now to kind of go through these things and be there for each other together.
Really grateful that you and Mom were here and just kind of checked in on us. So I know that it's not easy to watch loved ones that you love also go through painful experiences. So especially if they just also are encompassed by your own personal pains.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that we are in the same city. I'm really, really grateful that, you got to spend the last year hanging out with the bubs.
With the little baby.
Right now we're dealing with what does grief look like in our other dogs. Anubis here, I don't think he understands, knows, or cares what's going on.
He does.
In his own way, but he's Anubis is just really good. And then Amit, it was funny because
Excuse you.
I always considered Osiris my dog because he's my favorite. Amit is my husband's dog because she's his favorite. And then Anubis is both of our dogs because he hates both of us equally. And Amit is, my German Shepherd over here. She's just best friends with Osiris. And so I can definitely tell that she's going through something. And like in some ways I feel like that's also brought me really closer to her. So
Yeah.
I might have to steal her from my husband because, we're bonding through our grief.
Yeah. I remember when Bart passed last year and like Bean is such an anxious dog that I really was like, he's going to lose it. And he didn't seem like he was losing it. And I honestly felt like a little betrayed. Like, I'm like, why does it seem like you're fine? You're having a good old freaking time over here while I am going through the worst time of my entire life. But then one time, like someone had said after the fact that like, dogs grieve in their own way. But one time I hadn't put Bart's stuff away yet and his collar fell from like where we walked him. And Bean smelled it and he got like really, I could tell he was getting like emotional. He just like looked at me. So I was like, okay, he is processing in his own way. Not like I could hold it against him that he's like traipsing around, having like, la, la, la. Well, plus like I even like the best mom in that time too. Like I'm kind of like, I don't know what's happening. So they do grieve in their own way. And I'm sure Anubis knows there's a big change and, maybe he's putting on a strong front for mom and dad.
Yeah.
Or trying to distract you by limping. I know how to get him.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, don't worry. There's plenty more things for you to fret over, like this limp that I'm, just openly displaying. So.
Definitely.
Yeah. Besides that, the other thing I wanted to just talk about as it relates to like the week was, that happened at the earlier part of the week. And so when I went back to work on Wednesday and then finished work on Friday, I felt at the end of the week like it was somewhat of it wasn't the worst work-wise, considering how much I like did not want to be there, didn't want to do anything, and like just actually forcing myself to do it. I actually feel like I got a lot done considering I lost pretty much 8 hours of time and what. Work culture is so toxic. It's like, who even gives a shit?
I know, right?
Like, I'd actually like to not have a job, and then I can just 100% be in my feels all the time. But no, it's like I got to turn it off, show up at work, and then everyone's, asking their fucking questions.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Which dog was it? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is the last funny thing I want to talk to you about, actually. Can we just talk about why I set this meeting? But everyone's been really nice and, supportive, so.
Well, that's good.
The week continues.
Life, indeed. I had seen someone say on TikTok once, and I totally have felt this before, that like one of the hardest parts of grief is that like your world stops, but the world keeps spinning for everyone else. And it's like, how is that even possible? Like, and it just makes it even harder, right? Like that it's like, why, like, I don't know, my life feels ruined right now. And and I'm sure people feel this way when this person was talking about losing their parent, and I was like, I can only imagine how that feels. And like the fact that you still have to talk to your job, and it's like, real life is happening here, guys. And that real life is that a big part of my heart is now missing. So it's just but the world does go on, the world does keep turning somehow in some way.
Yeah. Days still, deadline is still the deadline. And, considering the fact that I wasn't very motivated to be at work, didn't really want to be there, didn't really want to do the work. By the time I closed my day on Friday, I was like actually pretty, applauding myself for what I was able to do, considering that was the mentality I had all week. So
for sure.
Anywho,
That's
just, obviously real life update, especially for our 4 YouTube watch viewers.
I think we get like 8, okay? We're a big deal.
Yeah. So.
And it could be 11 if the 3 of us would actually watch it. Okay.
We've listened to ourselves in the episode, you've watched it at least 45 times in your edit. I've listened to it at least twice or 3 times. And so it's like...
But the watch could be fun.
And watch it would be interesting.
When we first started, I did used to listen to it the day that it dropped, like when I was at the gym, and it is fun. But after I've now that I'm in the real editing process, I was like, I literally can't. Like, I don't want to listen to this. Like, but then sometimes when I go back and I'm listening, I'm like, dude, this stuff's hilarious, you know. So I should push through this. You know, it's like sometimes like you want to listen to new music. But then you're like, no, I want to listen to the tried and true bangers right now. You know, I don't want to foray into something new. I just want to like do what I know is good. So that's how sometimes I'm feeling about going to the gym. Like I just need to listen to my pump playlist. I can't handle anything else right now. So, but yeah, we should watch. I mean, we could at least put it on in the background and let it play. Come on, we got to get our own views up.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that I will, especially because I, will get to see the cutie.
Yeah.
In a lot of our episodes. And, we were talking about this before we started filming. It's like, I haven't worn shorts yet because I'm like, I don't want people to see my legs. But then I'm like, I'm not even watching YouTube. So, like, who even cares if I wear shorts? Because I'm never going to see what anyone has to think or say about it.
I'm sure they wouldn't say anything. I mean, I don't know. People on the internet are like actually insane, bro. When I first got Poochie, I would put it on our podcast and play it for Bean and her so that they, maybe the sound of my voice would calm them down. Did it? I don't know. Once I exited that house, I wouldn't really look at my Ring camera because they were stressing me out so bad about how bad they were barking. So, but they're doing much better. They're getting along a lot better. They're really cute. I have to post a picture to Instagram of Poochie, of them playing. Poochie's just pounced on top of Bean, and he's like, ha! It's so cute. So, and Poochie and I are really good buddies, so I want to bring her over for a visit if Anubis can handle it, so that they can have a little play date.
Yeah, definitely like that. I don't know, like, I try not to ascribe too much of, like, my human, like, because we've watched so many movies, right? And because we've watched so many TV shows, it's like, I can write an entire script of emotions.
Yeah.
And I really try not to ascribe, like, that process into her.
They do feel stuff. I think my dogs speak English, so I'm not. Maybe they don't speak it, but they sure as hell understand it. So like I do think they have emotions. It's just like pigs are really smart and they feel really deeply.
No doubt that she has emotions, but in my mind I'm like, okay, watch Poochie come over here, they play, and then Poochie leaves, and Almond's having the same experience of like a dog that leaves and maybe is never coming back. See what I mean?
You know what, honestly, I've been thinking about, and I'm trying not to, is that Bean didn't get a chance to say bye to Osiris, and so I'm like, I wonder what he's going to think when he comes. If he's...
Yeah.
But...
I write these whole strips of like, okay, yeah, I really want her to have this play date, but like, what if the flip side of it, what if it actually backfires, because now I've just actually re-traumatized her? And I don't know, because, I mean... I was reading up on dog grief, and it literally was saying, like, that, it manifests in different ways, like it does for people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can, like, be, like, a couple of days, and sometimes it's, like, weeks. Sometimes it may never recover. And so, like, I have no idea what to expect, but, like,
yeah,
it's a simple creature at the end of the day. Love her, but she's kind of a simple-minded, she's staring at leaves as they blow in the wind, wishing she could chase them. So... I probably shouldn't be just...
It's really interesting because I feel like Poochie's actually super smart sometimes, but then sometimes she's so effing stupid that I'm like, bro, no way that you understand exactly what I'm saying when I'm saying it, and then you just launched your tiny body up into the air to try to get a bird that's all the way up there and fell on your back. Like, there's no way.
I don't fear no man, but I'ma still put 60 in this Drake. Set it off like Queen Latifah, nigga playing with my cake. Split the bag up with my brother, 50-50 what we made. I can't let no nigga eat that ain't contribute to this play.
But skip over some of that stuff just in case. So welcome back, Pretty Pride listeners. Your host, Kiki.
I'm your host, Ken.
We may have a lost tape situation. We'll see in editing. But if we do, it's because we're not meant to go deep on the emotional stuff.
Apparently not.
We're meant to keep it light, airy, fun, flirty.
Cute.
Very cutesy, very demure. So, our next...
The potential lost, footage was essentially about the fact that we are missing one of our famous furry co-hosts.
Yes.
So we won't revisit that if it isn't meant to be.
Yes.
But for all of our YouTube viewers, that's
We
what's
said
missing this week.
goodbye to Osiris this week.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that if we can hear the audio, but it's just a rough cut, we could always put it at the end, and we'll see. I mean, producer says it's salvageable, so.
Yeah, but, you know, this just reminds me that we were watching Jurassic Park, the franchise, the entire freaking franchise. And it's like that I still can't get over the fact that men think that they can like land a plane in a situation. It's like the overconfidence of men. There's this moment in one of the Jurassic World films where this guy who's learning to fly a helicopter is like, I'll fly this helicopter into battle, immediately dies, which is like, yeah, that's what's
Finally, someone said
happen.
it. There's a very unique trend. Well, maybe it's not unique to men as well, where their overconfidence kills their partners very often. And a lot of people have talked about this, where they'll be like, no, it's the same thing with the cave diving thing that people talk about. Where like I can squeeze into this 0.2 centimeter hole, and they have a whole family at home that they've left behind. But then what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, we can go on this really treacherous hike, and like women have in these relationships we're more natural to acquiesce and say, okay, if you really think that, and then they both perish and leave their children as orphans. So the overconfidence of men, yeah, that's something to doubt, so we'll see. Hey, I'm open to being wrong. But for our first or next topic, you had something you wanted to bring up.
I've forgotten
it too.
Well, I think one of the things that I did want to bring up was I think I do want to get into the Jurassic Park franchise at some point in this recording. But before that, I'd like to talk about, we've had these braids and we've been talking about like, first of all, they're really cute.
It's
they
like
are
a beauty
just
filter. It's so Gorgina.
Instant. Like, I'm gorgeous,
yes.
And then you put on makeup every day, or whenever you do put on makeup, it's like now you've just elevated it times 50.
Boom, bing, bang, boom.
And so the struggle I'm having right now is that I don't want to let go of this really easy, perfect, gorgeous beauty filter that I have every day.
It's definitely cut down my getting ready time in the morning. Mm-hmm.
But I miss my scalp.
I miss my scalp. And we were talking about at nighttime you go to put it up and it's in this bun and you're laying your head back and it's like kind of like ripping
so
your
heavy.
hair out because it's so heavy. So hold on, I need to prop my bun up on another pillow. And always trying. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's work. And then I feel like in the daytime it's all fine and dandy, but once you start to lose your awake consciousness, it's gets more uncomfortable. When you're laying, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get comfortable at all. So
yeah, always moving them around. Yeah. I don't know if I'm so curious about is this just because my hair is fine textured or it's not used to having this weight in it as often as women who get braids more often or have a tighter texture, and I'm so curious about that.
I just think that Black people know how to suffer.
It's not funny. It's not what I was expecting to come out of your mouth at all.
I just feel like it can't. No, I don't know. I don't care who you are. I doubt that they're yeah, that's comfortable, that's fresh. I just feel like it's part of the. It's like wearing a high heel,
Yeah.
It effing hurts, but boy, does it look good. So
that's true.
Sometimes you suffer for beauty.
I was watching that TikTok of that. I don't even know, is it a television show, but it's that balloon popping?
They just turned it into a Netflix show.
Okay, so it's this balloon popping dating show. And this guy walks in what has to be this cheesy yacht wannabe outfit. And the first girl has short curly hair, and she was the first girl, and he basically was like, I just don't like women with short hair, in a line full of Black women. And it's first of all, as a Black man, you should know how important our crown is, and just how important it is that we don't want to hear your fucking thoughts or musings about
No.
like hair length, hair density, hair texture, like
Porosity.
yeah,
Get out
just
of here.
like shut the fuck up. So as soon as he said that, all these other women were like, pop, 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 like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy. And this lady went off on him.
Because like, what are you saying? I have to still press my hair all the time to keep you attracted? No, we're not doing that.
Or what? Yeah, what are we talking? Like, I need to be wearing wigs, weaves. Like, I can't ever be
Silly.
an authentic version of myself, and I need to like aspire to this ridiculous beauty standard. It's like, why are you even here, sir?
Yeah.
If you wanted a white cheerleader with long blonde hair, like, what the fuck are you doing on this show?
I saw this guy, he's a white guy on TikTok, and he was talking about how you can always tell when white people haven't grown up or spent a lot of time around black people. And he gave this example of like, because he grew up in the South, and he was saying that he had been part of like, let's say it's a kickball league, and a black girl was a part of it, and she had gotten braids put in her hair, and one of the other guys in the kickball league who was white was like, I didn't realize her hair was that long. And the guy was like, don't piss me off right now. Like, you've seen this girl for 7 weeks. Like, what do you mean? Where do you think she was hiding her hair? And that also reminds me of, you know how every time I get my braids in, I'm like, I want it to look like I braided my hair. And so I keep it like a color of my hair. And you think people are too dumb to fall for that. They're not. They're not. And also the comments in that were hilarious. They're like, I'm so glad when white people witness this, because it's like, this is the type of ridiculousness that we put up with all the time. When you tell people about it, they don't believe you. And so very similarly, it's like, no one wants to hear about it. Actually, I'm getting really worked up. So I'm going to take it down a notch. We're going to take it down a notch. I want to wear my hair the way I want to wear my hair. And I actually don't care what you think. So
Yeah. And in fact, like, just shut your mouth.
Pop, pop, pop was the right answer, women.
Yeah.
Good job, ladies.
But anyways, getting back to the original question, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Because sometimes I'm like, just yesterday, I was like, maybe I should just start unbraiding it. But then once you start, that's a commitment. Like, and I was like, wait, hold on. Will I have time to finish this before
Yeah.
I have something to do? Or am I going to walk around with one braid? So,
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you got to snip the end off, and like, now you're just looking like a crazy person,
Yes.
you know? So it's
and
like,
then I also feel like we need to sync up, because you don't get to look Gorgina, and I look like, a sewer rat. So we got to make sure that we're close in our timing. But I still don't know when. I don't know when.
okay, we'll think
maybe
about
one
it,
more
because
week.
July 4th is coming up. Maybe there's like one more weekend of cute looks that we can get out of this.
And I did feel better after washing my scalp.
Oh, I felt so much
Yeah.
better. It was crazy though, because I had pre-treated the hair before it was installed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did not remember seeing anything to the degree of purple and pink color coming out of my hair when I was washing it.
Yeah.
Like, the second water touched it, purple was, I felt like Ty from Clueless when they're washing all that fake red dye out of her hair. Like, it was just streaming. And like, it's probably all over, like, it's probably residually left on my skin at this point, because they're so annoying to dry. But anyways, I felt so much relief at just like, okay, my scalp can finally breathe a little bit better between the humidity of Bonnaroo, the dust, the mud.
And all that gel she put on her hair.
The gel, it was like, okay, whew, my scalp's breathing a little bit.
Feeling great. So we'll see.
Yeah. We shall see.
Overalls aren't that cute when you're sitting down, you know? It's, anyways.
Okay, so on one of our previous episodes, we had gone to see Mission Impossible, and in the previews for that movie, and maybe, wait, did we see something else?
Yes, we saw Sinners.
Sinners. It was in the previews for Sinners that we had also seen this preview for this new Jurassic
Legacy?
Galaxy.
Something like that.
I don't know where they're at anymore. But this new Jurassic Park franchise film starring Mahershala Ali and ScarJo. And so the preview made it look really enticing. So on our trip to Bonnaroo, Southwest in-flight entertainment had Jurassic Park and The Lost World. And I was like, well, let me dabble. Let me watch these. Great films, classic films.
The first one especially, wow.
First one's so good. So, that played into it. So we get home And I'm like, I only got to watch half of Lost World. I got to finish this Lost World film. Found it, watched it. I was like, okay, great. So husband and I are like, we'll watch Jurassic Park 3. Then we get into the Jurassic Worlds. Now, I wanted to skip them because, as you know, I'm not a fan of Chris Pratt. Don't fucking understand who saw this man and thought leading man right there. But okay, we'll do it for the culture. So get into Jurassic World. I don't know what the other 2 subsequent films are. I know they're like a Jurassic World.
Something about a orphan.
Jurassic World something, and then Jurassic World Dominion.
Okay, sure.
Something along those lines. Anyways, there's 3 Jurassic World movies in the Jurassic World installment.
I can't believe that.
That's
unbelievable.
It's honestly unbelievable. The plots of these films. Okay. The plot of Jurassic World is they're doing Jurassic Park as Disney World, essentially. Mm-hmm. They've successfully done this. It's ridiculous.
I would go to Jurassic World Disneyland.
I mean, it looks great as a concept, but Chris Pratt training velociraptors like some hunting dogs.
That's insane.
Just freaking crazy. Bryce Dallas Howard, also just running around the jungle in her high heels, whatever.
Now I love that. I love that.
You can suspend some belief because obviously we're talking about a movie where dinosaurs are real. But some things it's just like, this is getting a little too ridiculous. In the second installment of this franchise, the plot centers around some old man, his son. I don't know who this person is. Another man, a young girl who's like running around. Apparently this man is a co-founder of the original Jurassic Park. And you come to find out that the young girl is a clone of his daughter.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the orphan I was thinking about.
Yes. Okay. That's one plot happening over there. In another plot, you have, I actually don't even remember. Like, they are going to save the dinosaurs who
were abandoned on the island?
Remained on this, the Jurassic World island. But there's an active volcano. So here's the species that has been eradicated, extinct, made extinct by natural environmental factors. Let's put them on an island with another thing that makes things extinct, So they're trying to escape this volcano. Not all of them do. And then there's some black market, auction of dinosaurs. I wasn't really paying attention.
I'm starting to feel like I have seen this movie, but I've never seen it before. But I'm recalling all the plot points somehow. So
it was absurd. I was barely paying attention, but every time I looked up, I was like, "There's just another crazy, insane plot point." Like,
let's talk about the real crazy, insane plot point. Bryce Dallas Howard is in love with Chris Pratt's character. No. I'm not buying it for a second.
He looks dirty in
a dog
every
trainer.
frame.
No, that's not happening.
Well, and she goes from corporate, boss girl baddie to vigilante wilderness woman. I'm just
raising a clone orphan.
Okay, yes.
It's crazy.
So that's the third movie, raising a clone orphan, trying to hide her away from the world. Now the dinosaurs that have escaped are just like wandering Earth, causing havoc as they do. And then there's another, big bad Tim Cook looking motherfucker who's putting them in the Italian mountains. I don't want to get into it too much. What I want to talk about is just like, first of all, Chris Pratt and this Velociraptor Blue having this bond with each other. I couldn't get over the fact that the Velociraptor is always looking at Chris Pratt dead on, giving him meaningful looks like this, and their eyes are on the fucking side of their head. I could not get over it. The third film felt like it was trying to be a Mission Impossible movie inside of a Jurassic Park movie, because it starts with they're trying to find their daughter who was kidnapped. They're at some Moroccan bazaar, what I can liken to a Moroccan bazaar, where there's dinosaur fights happening that people are betting on, and there's dinosaur meat being cooked, and there's it's like the slums, getting their little black market on. Bryce Dallas Howard's character is chasing, running through the streets, jumping from buildings, running from a velociraptor. Chris Pratt's on a motorcycle. He's having his high-speed chase
I have
against
seen this movie.
different a different type of atrociraptor or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm like, okay. And then they're, jumping onto planes, jumping out of planes. I'm just like, what is even happening in this franchise?
And where did you all get your training from?
Where does this even go? Like, where could this possibly go? So I finished that film thinking to myself, as much as I want to see, as much as that preview enticed me, I can't fathom where this franchise could possibly be going from where it's been.
And is it a continuation of or a slap and redo? You know what I mean? Like,
I hope it's a slap and redo because those three are silly. They're too silly to be believed. Oh, you're gonna look it up. I need someone to because.
No, I like to go in surprise. Let's just see,
I kind of I need to understand what I will say about the third one in this movie, Dominion Age. I don't know what it's called.
It's a sequel to Dominion.
It's a trequel.
What I will say about it is that bringing back Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum, they were actually the highlights of the movie. Oh yeah, that's another subplot. First of all, the setup to this film is Sam Neill's digging. Laura Dern's like, hey, there are these locusts, these wild prehistoric locusts that are eating up all of the crops in the Midwest. And if we don't figure out what's going on, there's going to be no food supply in a short period of time. So they have to infiltrate this biosyn corporation that Jeff Goldblum is apparently on the payroll to just lecture.
I've definitely seen this movie.
Jeff Goldblum is on payroll to just lecture the staff there, I guess. And he's also trying to help solve the locust problem. BD Wong, our favorite.
I know who BD Wong is.
Our favorite autopsy. What do they call it? Mortician? Mm-hmm. Well, that's someone who does funerals.
No, he's
What's
the psychological person. Are you talking about an SVU?
Yeah, SVU,
Yes.
He's not the
He's a
cutter.
psychologist. Yeah.
Okay, but what are they called? Autopsy
Mortician.
persons. Don't blink at me. What is the person who does autopsies called for a police force?
Why can't I only think of the word mortician? What's Woody's character?
Exactly. I'm like, wait, what does Woody do?
Coroner.
Thank you.
Got it.
Okay. Anyways, BD Wong is in this. Anyways, so setting it up, Laura Dern is trying to solve global famine from prehistoric locusts that are being created where they only eat other seeds. They don't eat these biosyn seeds. The clone's getting kidnapped because apparently the way that she was created, that's the only way to solve for this locust problem that BD Wong's character has created. Mm-hmm. And then you got Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard trying to find their daughter. At some point, my husband pauses the movie. He's like, okay, the plots all finally converge. There was still an hour and a half left of this movie. I was screaming. I was like, I thought this movie was almost done.
That's crazy.
What? There's more. It was torturous. So I don't know how I feel about seeing this new Jurassic.
I don't know how I feel about seeing it, but if we do see it, we have to see it in theaters. I've gotten such an appreciation for the theater after our foray into films this year.
I can agree with that.
Different. Seeing Sinners and seeing Mission Impossible in IMAX. Wow. Yeah. I need to go see I need them to do a replay of all 8. And let me see all of them again.
That would be great.
That would be great.
When we saw the preview for that F1 film with Brad Pitt,
doesn't look interesting.
And I had said, stop trying to make racing happen. As soon as those words left my mouth, I was like, wait, I actually have a friend who's probably going to go see this movie because they like F1. And sure enough, that's what they're doing.
Did they? I have to know if they like it. I'm hearing mixed reviews. I'm reading mixed reviews on the actual news sites. But the ones that were, you know how sometimes they'll be like, how Brad Pitt overcame adversity. I'm like, that sounds like a fluff piece that he paid you to write, and I don't believe it's good. One of the drivers for F1 was saying it was a rough watch. It was a real life driver. It was a rough watch. Plus, they cut Simone Ashley out of the film after they had her do press for the whole thing, and I was like, I'm not.
What's A rough watch. First of all, a rough watch in what way?
I didn't click on the article.
Like it
I just read
was
the headline.
too
said
realistic?
He didn't like it. He didn't like
Okay.
it. Simone Ashley, season 2, Kate Bridgerton.
Wow.
They had her in the film. They promoted her as in the film. They had her do press for the film and then cut her out. No, I'm not effing around with you. So I'm not going to see that movie. I had no interest in seeing it, and I have negative interest in seeing it now. So
Yeah, I feel like when I watched the preview, they did the thing where you know what this movie's like. I
Yeah.
know what this movie is about. This movie is about a fucking NASCAR driver who's down on his luck. He's gonna go win this F1 race. The black guy's probably gonna die in that race.
white savior complex. I'm not into it. So
Yeah, I'm just like just in the preview that I saw. Like,
Yeah.
I could probably guess what's gonna happen in this movie.
But I still, anyways, the point is, I do want to see Jurassic.
Okay,
So when does it come out? So that's the thing. I want to
I
see all
think
this
it comes
movies, and
out
I never know when
this
it comes
July
out.
4th weekend.
Oh, I don't want to see it that soon. I want to see it in August. That just seems like a really good time to watch a Jurassic Park movie. Something about
me
the
look
summer
it up.
and dinosaurs.
The summer and dinosaurs. I just like, what is this? Jurassic World Rebirth. I wish they would rebirth it because what could possibly even be going on? July 2nd, yeah.
Zora Bennett. What a name.
That's when it comes out.
Zora. Jonathan Bailey. I forget Jonathan Bailey's name. I definitely want to see it. I love me some Jonathan Bailey.
Oof.
With his little...
Rupert
little gay
Friend, isn't
glasses.
it? Mr. Wickham.
This is going to be good stuff. Okay.
Okay.
I'm wondering what the
This
early
movie's gonna be
reviews are
terrible.
saying. Sometimes you know when they throw like a really good cast on it, you're like, oh, this is shit, you know? Or all these celebs signed up for it. Maybe it's always hard to say too, because I think that sometimes they think it's going to be good and then they change things after the fact. And then it's like, not you putting me in a flop. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but Jurassic World Dominion Age or whatever, like I said, the highlights were actually the callbacks to like Jeff Goldblum's character does his whole like T-Rex distraction in the movie, and it's like you recognize that Jurassic Park was such a seminal film in enjoying like action movies, like marrying the fantasy of
Yeah.
dinosaurs and action. So there's just like, I mean,
It's
so
an amazing score.
so seminal that when we were playing Neanderthal poetry, you know, one of the clues was Ripple.
It's too good.
Because obviously we were trying to get to the T-Rex ripple effect. So we should
Yeah.
figure out how we're gonna see it and when we're gonna see it.
Yeah, we
I think we
should.
should try and do it opening
Life
weekend.
just gets too busy. You want to do it opening day?
Opening weekend.
I say we do it on the 3rd.
That's the weekend. Opening weekend.
Well, technically that's a Thursday and it's only a weekend because we're off for July 4th.
Okay, I was saying not the 2nd, but any day of that weekend.
And I was offering a day. I was saying let's do the 3rd
Okay.
at nighttime.
Okay. Mom wants to see The Accountant too. I'm like, that's definitely not in
I
theaters
don't even
anymore.
think it's in theaters anymore. They put movies out of theaters so soon now. They don't have room for
Wicked
you.
was gone from theaters almost immediately.
When I Google Accountant 2, Showtimes doesn't even come up. So
Do we want to talk about the fact that our parents are going to see Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour?
no, I don't. I'm pissed. I want to go see Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour. Every time I open Spotify, it's like shows near you, Beyonce at some point. And I'm like, first of all, you're saying this like I could just get tickets. Like, and that's actually
The worst.
diabolical. Like, I could just get a ticket to Cowboy Carter.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
But if at some point when we have our father on this podcast and we introduce him to our listeners and viewers, the idea that he is going to a concert, period, is kind of odd.
Well, Pretty and Pride listeners, that essentially wraps up this episode. The same audio issues that you saw or heard plague us in the beginning kind of plagued us in the end as well. So we didn't get a chance to record our signature outro. But thank you for sticking with us as we work through these issues. We definitely have this resolved for our next set of episodes. With all that being said, thanks for tuning in. Stay pretty, stay prideful. Say it with me now. Especially if you're Black.
You can't finesse. Bitch, I move smart like a motherfucking Tesla. I'm clutching this Glock, do I look like a wrestler? Get put on your back, tryna act like a flexer. Hold on, wait, this Glock take 'em out like a date. She give me the pussy, I just want the face. Fuck her real good, put the bitch in her place. I'm high in the bitch, but my mind up in space.